Some golfers are known for their less than sportsmanlike attitudes, but some take it to the next level altogether. Whilst some guys, like Ricky Fowler, are universally acknowledged to be some of the tour's nicest, there are others who are quite the opposite, displaying things like temper tantrums or refusing to shake hands with their opponents. Today, we are looking at the golfers who have the worst attitudes on the course, so don't go anywhere. First up, it's American Patrick Reed. Stay with us. 31-year-old Reed is widely acknowledged as having one of the worst attitudes on the tour. The 2018 Masters winner caused eyebrows to be raised back in 2014 after an early career tournament win. He was competing in the WGC Cadillac Championship, which he won, but it is what he said afterwards that didn't sit right with his fellow pros. Reed claimed that he was one of the top players in the world straight after the tournament win, despite it taking him another 4 years to claim his maiden major win, which is still his only one to this day. Eyebrows were raised even further when Reed went on to explain that all future tournaments would just be him and Tiger fighting it out for 1 and 2. How did that prediction work out for you, Patrick? Reed has also become a bit of a pantomime villain with fans after getting into it at the Ryder Cup, whilst his caddy has been suspended in the past for defending him when fans have tried to goad him. Last year, Reed liked tweets which called Team USA's Ryder Cup captain Dustin Johnson a coward after he had been left out of the team for the tournament later this year. Reed has also been known to bend the rules to suit himself, having been involved in rule infringements. What do you make of Reed's attitude? We're talking Fuzzy Zoeller next. Stay with us. 1979 Masters winner Zoeller was involved in one of the most disgusting incidents the game of golf has ever seen. His attitude towards up-and-coming course sensation Tiger Woods after the latter's first major title was seen as obscene, even back then. Whilst the incident technically didn't take place on the course, the horrible attitude he displayed towards fellow professional Woods bordered on criminal. The Masters champion traditionally selects the menu for the following year, and after complimenting Woods on how well he was driving for a little boy, which was also probably a backhanded dig, Zoeller said, "So you know what you guys do when he gets in here? You pat him on the back and say congratulations and enjoy it, and tell him not to serve fried chicken next year. Got it?" After smiling and snapping his fingers, he continued by telling the listening media to also tell him not to include any collard greens, or whatever the hell they serve. They, presumably being black people. Outrageous. Zoeller was dropped by Kmart and Dunlop following the comments, which would almost certainly see him canceled these days. He did go on to apologize, trying to defend himself by saying it was just a joke, but it was too little, too late. What did you guys make of this incident? The aforementioned Tiger is up next. Tiger Woods caught the ire of many on the tour after his phenomenal early success. Initially, it seemed as though his fellow pros were maybe just jealous of his domination over the field, but it seems it was more to do with his attitude on the course. Woods' behavior on the course has ranged from twirling his club after a shot he likes and pointing towards the hole after a putt he knows is going in. As well as these perceived microaggressions, there is the Tiger Woods fist pump, which we regularly see after an important putt. Tiger's private life doesn't help the perceptions of him either. A lot of his fellow pros lost all respect they had for him after the news of how he treated his ex-wife emerged. Then there were the womanizing issues which followed him around for years, as well as claims from other players that he wore his injuries like a badge of honor. What do you think of Woods' infamous attitude? Next up, we have Vijay Singh. Stick around. Vijay has a reputation in the clubhouse as the one player nobody wants to caddy for. His arrogance is legendary, and he has been known in the past to not even greet his caddies before play begins. Caddies are an integral part of the game and can even provide invaluable advice on particular holes and club selection, amongst many things. Then there was the deer antler spray incident, in which he claimed ignorance to its steroid properties, putting on a holier-than-thou attitude. And as if this wasn't bad enough, his response to Annika Sorenstam's inclusion in a male tour event showed fans just what sort of man he is. He said he hoped Sorenstam missed the cut because she doesn't belong out here, despite her performing better than 24 of the men. She should have been praised for her performance, but archaic attitudes of men like Vijay Singh have only served to help suppress women's game. We're talking about Phil Mickelson next. Mickelson's inclusion on a list such as this may come as a surprise to some, especially after what he has had to endure injury-wise. His larger-than-life image, accompanied with undeniable skill, has earned him a legion of adoring fans, but he isn't as well liked by his fellow pros, basically for his attitude out on the course. He earned the nickname Fig Jam after the song by Butterfingers, with lines such as "I am the greatest," like Cassius Clay, and "I'm good, just ask me." The nickname was a nod to his perceived arrogance on the course, and he has also been called a whiner by many within the game. He was also called out for his attitude surrounding taxes after trying to avoid paying them, which doesn't look good for such a wealthy man. Bryson DeChambeau is joining us next. Stay tuned. DeChambeau is one of the biggest hitters in the game and has bizarrely recently been called out for his big-hitting style by his fellow golfers, who have claimed he is ruining the game. The idea that a player can't utilize his best weapon on the course is very strange to us, and the complaint that Bryson is ruining the game smacks of jealousy. The 2020 U.S. Open winner's refusal to bow down to pressure has seen him become one of the more unpopular players on the tour. The PGA has even claimed they are looking into the possibility of changing some of the rules, thanks to DeChambeau's technique of playing across other fairways on dogleg holes. The PGA has said they will seek to make some adjacent fairways or put a stop to Bryson's style. He has been known to hit 500-yard tee shots on occasion, and his uncompromising attitude has made him one of the least popular players right now. We think the other players should just deal with it and focus on improving their own games. What do you guys think? Let us know below. We're talking Ian Poulter next. Don't go anywhere. Poulter is one of the most divisive figures on the PGA Tour, largely for his attitude. His performances on the European Ryder Cup team are pretty solid, but he is known to be one of the least gracious winners in the whole locker room. Poulter has also been known to call out other players on Twitter, whilst also attacking one of the greatest ever, Tiger Woods. As loud as his pants and twice as brash, Poulter once said that he doesn't actually rate any players on the tour other than himself, despite never winning a major and only winning 3 PGA Tour events throughout his more than 2-decade career in the game. If things don't go his way, which they often don't, Poulter has been known to display a grumpy, sour, and cold attitude towards his fellow golfers, which doesn't sit right with many of them. What do you make of Poulter's career so far? Give us your thoughts below. And finally, Rory Sabatini is stopping by. Sabatini once famously challenged Tiger Woods to a fight, although it was assumed he meant on the course rather than a fist fight. The fiery South African is one of the game's most divisive figures, and his 2005 incident with fellow pro Ben Crane when he walked off the green onto the next tee whilst Crane was still lining up his putt had many golf purists calling for his head. He kind of had a point though, as they had already been warned about slow play, but his behavior was seen by many as ungentlemanly. Sabatini's pompous attitude saw him voted Sports Illustrated least favorite playing partner on a tour, which we are sure won't have bothered him one bit. You'll probably also remember the incident at Riviera when he shouted at a teenager in the crowd in his hilarious shouting match with Sean O'Hare. What do you guys make of Sabatini? As always, thanks for tuning in today, and remember to stop by next time for some more fun and games. Also, remember to like and share today's video, whilst also subscribing to our channel. Bye guys!